Greetings Kanto University. My name is Kim and I am Finnish Pokémon blogger specializing in competitive Pokémon hints and tips. In these videos I go through a couple of options for you to think about how to build your in-game team, like what moves to use, which nature is most beneficial and what kind of Pokémon you may want to use in combination with it. In this video I give hints and tips on often used and really good fighting type Pokémon Scrafty. Scrafty is something I call bulky fighting type with base defense and special defense of 115. It really can take hits. Its base 90 base attack grants really solid physical base on this powerhouse of Pokémon. Fairly low base HP of 65 and speed of 58 can be a hindrance at first, but later on the bulk coming from defenses can cover that up. Scrafty is dark fighting type, which negates its weakness to psychic and gives it 4 times resistance to dark and 2 times resistance to ghost, which can make it really good at games Elite Four. Only gaining weakness to its own stab fighting, so don't use it when fighting Marshal. You can find Scrafty's first form, Scraggy, first at Route 4 and then Desert Resort, either than normal Scraggies, or if memory link is done at black 2 or white 2, and Scraggy from there as well. The special Scraggy that glows and stuff. Scraggy comes with either one of 2 abilities, Shed Skin and Moxie. Almost every time you want to get Moxie one. As for in-game purposes, single Pokemon suites are actually much more common ones than in competitive play. Scraggy evolves rather late, at level 49, which can cause some trouble to people, but if you can handle that fairly weak first stage Pokemon until it evolves, you'll have a really solid team member for late game. When you hit level 50 with your newly evolved Scrafty, that's usually the point I start finishing the movesets, unless they are already finished by that point. Having actually really good move pool, finishing Scrafty's movesets don't take that long of time at all. Just like with all my in-game Pokemons, I like to determine 1 or 2 core attacks that are found in pretty much any moveset I decide to use. And with Scrafty, those moves are Drain Punch, which you get by giving 10 yellow shots at Yumilo City's move tutor, and Crunch, which it learns at level 38. I've chosen Drain Punch for its insane utility. It hits hard after its buff in black and white and heals Scrafty a lot thanks to high base attack and low base HP. And Crunch just gives you fairly good stab against ghosts and psychic types with a chance of dropping opponent's defense. And just these 2 stabs are pretty much all you need in your moves. Other moves are pretty much for coverage. The one moveset that I think is most common one. Oh, here I forget. Oh, I already went. Yeah, there was a point I forgot that there was a sandstorm and Scrafty died. But yeah, the most common moveset I find used on Scrafty's in game is Drain Punch and Crunch, as I mentioned, and then Rock Slide, which is TM80, and you get it from Mr. Rolton game. I think someone from University will do a video about that later on, if not have already done it. And then Dragon Tail or Dragon Claw. You get Dragon Tail from TM82, which you get from Drayden after you beat him on his gym. And Dragon Claw you get at post game from Dragon Spiral Tower. Usually I go with Dragon Tail, even with its forced switch out Bob Jiggy Dingamajing, and then upgrade it to Dragon Claw later on when I get there. That's actually a really solid moveset. You don't really use the other moves until you get to post game anyways, but a couple of other options for movesets are Brick Break. If you for some reason don't want Drain Punch, they have same base power, and Drain Punch heals you, but Scraggy learns it at level 20. So that's actually really good before you get the shots and get to Yumilo to get the Drain Punch. Another good stab is High Jump Kick, which it gets at level 31. I don't like to use High Jump Kick because there's lots of Pokemon that like to use Protect and Detect in game, and High Jump Kick takes 50% of your HP off if you miss it. Other good options are all the elemental punches. You can use them instead of the Dragon Tail. Ice Punch being probably the most useful of the three. You can use Thunder Punch too, because it hits super effective on Scraggy's weakness, which is flying, but that's covered already with the rock type moves. But you can also hit hard dragons with it, and if you don't plan on using anyone else who learns either dragon or ice moves, then maybe teaching ice elemental punches for Scraggy is actually a good idea. Don't teach all three because it's just a waste. You get elemental punches from Driftveil City's move tutor by giving him 10 red shots. You can replace Rock Slide with Stone Edge, which is TM71. You get it post-game from Twist Mountain. I don't like using it as it has only 5 PP and low accuracy, but it hits so much harder than Rock Slide. So if that kind of moves are your style, you can use it. And it's post game anyway, so you're probably going to use Rock Slide till then. Then there's Dig, which, well, TM28 and you get it from Route 4, but Scrafty doesn't learn Earthquake via TM or anything. So Dig is its strongest ground type move, but I don't tend to use Dig either on it because it can hit ice and rock and steel types really hard with its stab fighting moves, and pretty much all electric types you come across, you either have some other Pokemon for them or you just hit them harder with your fighting type other moves. So yeah, but you can replace Dragon Tail with this too. It has fairly good base power and it gives you in-game utility via giving your option to escape the caves in case there are. Then there is Rest, and this is pretty much only move I'd suggest running Shedskin with. You get Rest from Castelia City and it's TM44. I think every turn there's some percent of chance for you automatically curing all status ailments, which means that you probably will not be sleeping for that whole 2 turns that Rest gives you, and it gives you full HP. So if you go with Rest, you probably want to switch Drain Punch to High Jump Kick or some other fighting move, but still I don't recommend this as it's kind of gimmicky, and in-game people tend to cheese stuff really hard. So yeah, if you get Rest locked, then you just have wasted insane amounts of time and eventually you are forced to switch. And then the last option I've seen and heard used on it is Outrage. You get it so late, you get it from post-game Nacrain City move tutor by giving him, her or him 10 green shots. And I find Dragon Claw much more constant. So yeah, again, this is pretty much if you like using outrage, it hits really hard, but it has that confusion thingamabob there. So yeah, again, you can replace Dragon Claw with it if you want. For nature of Scrafty, you want to something that does not lower your attack, and pretty much anything else goes. For if you use rest, you probably want to boost some other of your defenses, as you want to be able to take hits while you set up rest, and preferably take less damage than you healed. So yeah, otherwise it doesn't really matter at all. Then there's a couple of Pokemon Scrafty works fairly well with. One is ghost type Pokemon like Litwick, you find from Celestial Tower, or Yamask, which you find from Relic Castle, which is at Desert Resort. I remembered on the last video that you'll find Yamask is at Desert Resort, which is, by the way, wrong. You find them at the Relic Castle. They are both really good options as well. Even though Scrafty can crunch most ghost Pokemon, it still lacks the total 100% sure hit on them if you happen to mess something up. And another one is to flying type Pokemon, which can take, as well as the ghost types, can take fighting type moves, which is Scrafty's most glaring weakness, as it's so common. So you probably want a ghost or flying type Pokemon in your team, and either Sigil of Eye recommended in last video, or if you have Pokemon White 2, you can catch Braviary at Mondays, and it has its Dreamworld ability called Defiant, which is actually really good for in-game purposes, as the opponents tend to try lower your stats quite a bit. So those are a couple of really good options if you are planning to pick up Scrafty. And that's pretty much it for this time. If you want to see your favorite Pokemon covered in these videos, please leave a comment and give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel as well for updates about new videos. We see you later. Bye bye.